Right now, I'm working as a senior member of the Technology and Engineering and Operations team over at T. Rowe Price. I currently work in the Identity and Access Management piece. And for us, Identity and Access Management is not only people, it is machines. A little disclaimer, this talk is mine and mine only. It doesn't represent any viewpoints of any companies or organizations that I may directly or indirectly represent. So let's get started. When we look at certificates and machine identities, there's a lot of questions that we have to ask ourselves. What's the machine? Where's the machine? Who's responsible for that machine? Who's responsible for that machine's identity? How are we going to get certificates over to that machine? Where are those certificates going to live? All these questions come up when you have an identity and access management program centered around machine identities. As part of that, we had to build operations to support all these questions: the who, the what, the how. So I want to break out some of the different categories and some of the struggles we had with our old solution set. Like many organizations, you grow into problems. We were the same. We started off as a small company and we grew and grew and grew. And as part of that growth, you kind of get lost in a little bit of the growth as well, right? So some of the problems that led to our Tangled Web were ownership, right? Who does the application certificate belong to? Is it the application team? Is it a technology team? Is it a security team? Understanding who should own that certificate was critical. We knew who should own the certificate. We had a vision that the applications and the application owners should own the certificates. However, we didn't have a good mechanism to make that happen. We, the technology team, had a very good understanding of certificates because we managed the systems and we managed issuing of the certificates, but the application owners didn't have that same knowledge set. Not all the application owners, I should say. Some of the application owners knew it better than we did. I like to use the Home Depot analogy. And the Home Depot analogy is this. If I'm Home Depot and you come to me and I cut you a key, I don't know where that key is used. I don't know how that key is used. I can help you getting a key, but that's about it. I found ourselves being in that certificate space. I can create you a certificate, but I don't necessarily know how you're going to use it or where you're going to use it. And that's why we wanted the application owners to take ownership. In our old model, the Tangled Web, we didn't have a good mechanism to make that happen. In addition to ownership, we found our processes to be very time consuming. We were often asked, what takes so long to do certificates, right? Not having a clear cert ownership, we had to do a lot more investigation. When a cert came to expire and we knew the owner, great. It was an easy process to get that cert renewed and that new cert deployed to the systems. If we did not know the owner, we would have to do some investigation. That was manual work. We had to match up the apps to the certs. We had to match up the current owner, get contact with the owner, and all that was in a manual process. Manual notifications, even when you send emails and different kinds of communications, that all takes time. So that is very time consuming, right? In addition to that, we had different certificate authorities in our environment. And if you used any more than one certificate authority, you found that they all have their own different interface. That differences in interface is also time consuming. If I have 4 different CAs, they all have 4 different interfaces. Their interactions for the user are 4 different interactions. Their administrative access, approving the certs that were requested, those administrative type tasks, were also 4 different ways of doing it. That takes time. As soon as you hit CA number 2, you had a new interface, you had to learn that interface. We had to write documentation. We had to write documentation for CA1. We had to write documentation for CA2, documentation for CA3, because all the interfaces were different. That all led to very time-consuming processes. The last piece I want to talk about from our Tangled Web is mistake proofing. I worked for a CTO at a past firm, and he used the terminology mistake proofing. I don't know if he originated it, but I sure latched onto it once I heard that. Most of our operational issues happen by human error. This is not a Tiro-specific thing. This is everywhere. When we have operational mistakes, that could lead to system issues. As humans, we are flawed, right? We make mistakes. And it's not always just mistakes, right? It's not just human error. It's also human scheduling. A human is not good at doing 15 different things at once. They can get overwhelmed. They can get different tasks burdened onto them. That takes away from what needs to get done. If I need to send out a manual notification today to a team to tell them their certificate's expiring, and then I get called onto a critical situation or some type of outage, and I'm taken away from that task, I may not get back to that task in time. This is what I mean by that human scheduling. Anytime a human performs a manual task, they can make a mistake too. Send it to the wrong team. Compose an email, don't send it. Things like that. We also have stuff like employee turnover. Does the team that I'm emailing the cert to, is that the same? Is that different? So on and so forth. We also have things like the different UI experiences that I mentioned just a minute ago. That also is time consuming and also prone to mistakes. Because if CA1 had a certain set of rules and CA2 had a different set of rules, you can see how easily it's possible to make mistakes. So we took all of these, the ownership, the time consuming, the mistake proofing, we took all these into mind. And we said there has to be a better way. We knew that doing it the way we were doing it, we could have been successful, and we were successful, but we weren't thriving. We were surviving, but not thriving. So we wanted to look at products and things that would help us thrive in that certificate and identity access management and machine identity perspective. And that's where we came to Venafi. One of the main reasons we chose Venafi was that it met our immediate needs, and it gave us a platform to do so much more. Let's look at some of the items that we looked at when we chose Venafi. We knew we wanted to modernize. We needed to have a more modern approach to our solution set. We were successful in the Tangled Web, but we knew we had pain points. So we wanted to address those pain points and make it easier for the application owners to take ownership of the certificates. So we needed that tooling that could help us modernize. Venafi did that. We wanted something that could give us immediate wins. We didn't want a long process to get results. We wanted something where we can get these quick wins, as I call them, out of a tool set. We went through a very selective selection criteria. We did a lot of evaluations. We did a lot of paperwork evaluations. We met with a lot of different vendors, had a lot of demonstrations. We completed proof of concepts, and we landed on Venafi. What we found is that they offered us the biggest potential for future work. That future roadmap looked the best with Venafi, and that was important to us because we knew that to properly modernize, we don't have to only solve today's problems. We also have to innovate for tomorrow's solutions. Let's look at some of the quick wins that I mentioned. The first one that we immediately saw was that it had a better interface. So now, when you need a certificate, you go to one platform, Venafi, and Venafi goes to all the different CAs. I don't have to write documentation for different CAs, certificate authorities, or different systems. I have to write one set of documentation for Venafi, and Venafi does all the work. It also allows me to build out different teams and different policies. So that interface made it so much simpler for us. The second quick win was automation. Now, Venafi can do a lot of different automation. You can have API integration. You can automate certs where it will deploy certs to the site itself. And that automation is completely without human interaction, or can be completely without human interaction. That's not the automation I'm talking about. I'm actually talking about like notifications and things like that as part of that quick win. We are working towards automation in that full automation scheme that you can get with Venafi. But our quick win was just simply having notifications go out to the right teams and the right people in a timely fashion, and on the schedule we needed them to go on. We send out an email that says your cert's about to expire in 7 days, 10 days, whatever that time frame is, and we build that policy in Venafi. Venafi will do it. Venafi doesn't get too busy to do it like a human could. Venafi will do that every day on time. It's a machine. Unless that machine is crashed for whatever reason, and we haven't encountered that, the notifications will come out. That alone saves us a lot of headache. Some other of the quick wins is we knew that we wanted to get that ownership of certificates into the hands of the application owners. So basically empowering them to know more about their applications and know more about the applications, and also more about how they use their certificates and be responsible for those certificates. In our existing model, in our Tangled Web, as I like to call it, it was hard for us to do that. With Venafi, we had that ability. So we automated notifications, like I said, right? We created workflows. We onboarded teams. We gave and empowered the application team to quickly gravitate towards this product. And they did so very quickly, and actually surprisingly quickly, which was a very pleasant surprise. And the other quick win that I wanted to mention is that we have monthly touch points. I've interacted with a lot of different vendors in my career, and I must say that the Venafi team is really committed to our success. We meet on a monthly basis, if not more frequently, and they are fully vested in our success. Sometimes those meetings are 5 minutes, sometimes those meetings go for hours if we have problems, but they're always willing to stay on that extra time and help us out. I've never seen a better commitment from a vendor perspective, and I wanted to add that as a quick win because of that.